Alright guys, we just finished the first video. Now hopefully I've given you all the tips and tricks you need just to get in and out of Sketcher. Let's go actually make some parts here. So going back to CATIA, again, to start from scratch, we learned to go into 3D and find part design. You'll notice now I have two models up here. On the top there's two different tabs. Okay, so I don't really need both models. I'm just going to go ahead and close one off. The next step we learned was to make the part body the in-work object. So we click on the contextual menu so we can pick define in-work object. Now that we know the part body is active, we can select the YZ plane and go right into Sketcher. We've learned from the previous models how to pan our part. I'll slide the axis out of the way. And what was the first thing we were supposed to learn how to do here? We've learned to access the sketch in the right collaborative space. I did verify that I am in ENG T 185. Entered the sketch workbench application. We are currently in the sketch workbench application, and let's create a rectangle. So it's fairly simple. In the sketch tab on the bottom here, use the line command and you can create a line. Watch. All I have to do is click from point to point. You'll have an action pad up most likely. Just make sure that the snap to point is on over here. As long as the snap to point is on, it will follow the grids. The grids I want you to use are 1/4 inch increments by 1 inch squares. I have set that up in my legacy preferences. Wrong button, Dave. In my legacy preferences, what establishes this is in Sketcher. So mechanical design, anytime something's not right looking to you in the Sketcher, try this first. You must make sure that you are in inches. I'm at 1 inch. 4 graduations mean it's 1/4 inch increments. The reason why I know it's in inches is when I go to parameter measure units. I have under units selected length to be inches. I know you've gone through the imperial standards. What you guys need to do for me is write a letter to Dassault telling them that this is a pain picking them all one at a time. SolidWorks has a button where you pick imperial standards or you pick metric, and it'll just do all this for us. Now we have to do everything manual, but if you like overtime, maybe this will be beneficial for you. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and go back to the line command, create another line. How did I create a line? I use the line command. Now if you double click line, it will stay on and allow you to create line without having to repick this. So I just created another line. When you're done using that, you must hit escape to tell it you're done. Oh no, I made my rectangle too small. No problem. I'm going to come up here on the top left corner, click and hold the left button and drag a box. That box will select everything within the box. When I highlight all lines, you can see in the specification tree under geometry, there's not just lines. At the end of each line, it automatically generates points. When I created the box, it highlighted everything, allowing me to hit delete, and it quickly delete. This will probably be the most important feature for a new user, as you will make several mistakes. And when you want to ask me, how do I redo this? I probably will tell you, just delete it all and try again. Again, I'm going to create another shape. Let's create a line. I'm going to double click that, click a position here, and a position here. I just created a line, but line is active. So I don't have to reactivate that. I can just continue to click the ends of the lines. Okay, so wherever I click, it'll just keep creating lines, however many lines you want. When you're done creating lines, you can hit escape, and I've created a mess. Rather than to select one and hit delete and delete them one at a time, by the way, I was hitting delete on my keyboard, or you could do a click on it, then right click, and then find the delete command. But if you really want to just get rid of everything, just create a box, highlight that, and hit delete. Lines are very common features that we use, as well as circles. I'll just create a simple circle, click a position here, drag it out, click a position, creates a circle. How do I erase the circle real fast? Well, it's already highlighted. When I delete that circle, it's going to grab that point and remove it as well. Again, to create a circle, simply select the circle command, select a point, drag out your circle command, and click a position. Another thing is, if you know the size of the circle, for example, maybe you want a 3-inch circle, you would key in a radius of 1.5 and hit enter, and it will create you a 3-inch circle. And it automatically will create the dimension when you type in that value. Okay? So when you create a circle and you type in a value, it will automatically create a constraint allowing you to change it. So if I want to, I could double click on that constraint and switch it to a diameter. Select OK. So now it's calling off a diameter. Did you notice when I double clicked the diameter, you actually had an opportunity to change the value? If I double click this and change that 3 to a 5, it will change the diameter of that circle to 5 inches. Again, how do I erase all of this? Highlight the whole thing and then simply hit delete. So we've learned to quickly access a sketch. I showed you, well, first off, how to get into a part, how to access the sketch, how to create a geometrical shape, how to erase the geometrical shape, and then how to exit the workbench. So those are the main steps you need to learn so we can get going with the program. Coming into class for the following classes, I need you to be able to comfortably be able to understand how to create a new part. I need you to be able to understand how to set the part body as the in-work object. I need you to be comfortable going into the YZ plane and accessing a sketch. I need you to be comfortable with double-clicking the line command and moving your profile around. Double-click the line command and create shapes. Okay, look, I'm creating a crazy looking triangle. Know how to stop creating lines by hitting escape. Know how to move your part side to side, up and down, and how to zoom in and out on your part based on what we learned in the model-based definition. Again, we can zoom in and out, move it side to side using the mouse features, as well as under the View tab, we learned that this was the pan button and that this was a zoom command, which allows you to do a couple things. Zoom area, zoom real close to a spot. We learned fit all in will allow me to see the triangle again. And we've also learned zoom out, allows you to click and hold, and you get this little mouse. When you move your cursor up or down, it zooms in and out of the part. And if I want you to know how to exit, you can exit the sketch, open the part body. Now, the number one mistake is if I want to change the triangle, what people do is they repeat the step they did earlier. They pick on the YZ plane and hit sketch, but what you're doing is you're actually making a second sketch. You do not want to make a second sketch. You try and work on the triangle and it won't let you do anything to that existing triangle. So what I could do is exit out. Notice the sketch 2 went away because I didn't create any geometry. If you want to ever modify anything on CATIA, you simply double click it. I'll double click the sketch. Now you notice I didn't make a new sketch. I reactivated sketch 1. Brought me back here where I could grab this triangle and actually grab a line and move it around. So I can modify the shape by either grabbing an edge and moving it around, or you can actually go to sketch and select the constraint option, grab a line, and it will measure that, click a position. Instead of being some weird number, I could just change that to 4 inches and it makes it a nice even number. All right, again, identify the workbench I'm in. How do I do that? Specification tree, or sorry, up on the top of the specification tree, it tells me the 3D Experience workbench I'm in is in Sketcher. How do I get out of Sketcher? I exit out of Sketcher. What workbench am I in? I'm in Part Design. It identifies that again to the right of the compass, telling me you're in part design. How do I get back to modifying my sketch? I expand the tree so I can see the sketch. I double click the sketch and I'm back in the sketch environment. How do I know I'm in the sketch environment? Again, it's telling me up here what workbench application I'm using. So the sketch application allows you to create 2D profiles. When you exit out, it's going to allow me to take that 2D profile and extrude it into a solid. So our next exercise in our next classes are going to be to make solids. All right, try and make sure you know how to create circles, lines, rectangles, and erase them all in a model. So this was your practice to make sure that you understand how to complete the following steps that we've done here. We've created the rectangle and erased it. We created a triangle, we erased it. Oh, that's supposed to say create a circle. I'll fix that right now. And I showed you how to exit the workbench application. After you've completed this, there's nothing else to say but the work document that defines creating the new part, the sketch workbench, and exiting the sketch workbench. You can move on to the next exercise.